If you are the type of moron that watches Big Order, please stay. You sound fun. I want to know what your life is like.
I want to know who you are, and I want to know why you enjoy the things you do, because I think you might... There's a chance you're a mad genius, and I'd love to know more about you, because fucking Big Order is... Oh, it's... It's so its own thing.
I think if you're a fan of Big Order, you're actually smarter than me. Like, you just take this information and just fill in everything that this show just decided to not do. Like, your brain does
You're
it
like,
on autopilot.
I understand.
Like, you are an evolved creature that can just take nonsense and find meaning. Like, you're solving algorithms with your ascended mind.
I think you might be the Chad and I might be the Virgin, because, honest to fucking God, Big Order is a show by, or is a manga, right? Was a manga. I think is a manga by, the hell is his name? Sakae Isuno, who is the dude who did, what the fuck is it called? Future Diary, right?
A lot of Future Diary echoes with us lately. Just so many dominoes in where we are now.
Yeah. Interesting that. And Future Diary, right, was pretty good manga as I remember. I think I read a good amount of it. And I guess because he had Future Diary clout, he was able to get this fucking thing published.
And I guess
for better or for worse,
about this guy as a writer is that it seems whether his thing lives or dies is based on whether he is on the pulse or just behind it. Because on this one, he's just behind it, and just the whole house of cards collapses into chaos.
What's interesting is that Future Diary, right? It got its manga adaptation after the manga had been around for quite a number of years. I think it was actually pretty close to wrapping up, or already had at least, perhaps by the time it got its anime adaptation. Now, I don't really know about. No, I'm checking right now. No, the manga actually, it was 10 volumes. It is either wrapped up or was canceled. I'm not really sure. But this fucking thing. Where do I even begin?
It would be a real understatement to call this a mess. Because I guess a mess implies a certain type of randomness, whereas here there is a lot of very specific information and executions, and everything looks just like animated enough where I don't feel like they rush it. It's just like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's incredible. Like, I wrote down the line where everything permanently collapsed into itself. Like, it wasn't doing well before this, but the second that...
Well, there is certainly an order to Grand Order, certainly.
Big Order, Grand Order is a whole other fucking...
Big Order, Grand... Yeah, no, it's another shitty thing that I hate. No, I don't hate this. I think it'd be wrong to say that I hated this. It was entertaining.
It was entertaining, but let me get this line in the world. Just, I'm Kurenai Rin, an assassin sent to kill you. When they say,
I think that's when this show had me, is like that moment right there.
And
like, I might just finish the fucking thing. It's only 10 episodes.
I think you've gotta, like, Big Order only happens once.
Big Order is a show, and okay, so the whole premise of it, and don't worry if you get lost here, because that's just proof that you're still sane. The idea is that at some point in the next year or two or something like that, you get these people called orders are introduced into the world, and they're people with stands.
Yep.
I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. It's basically that.
Araki's gonna start fucking suing people eventually. Like, we've reached the density.
He seems to just be honored to be as influential as he is. That's the only explanation I can think of as to why he hasn't gone fucking litigation crazy. So you've got orders, right? Which stand users. Except the world knows about them, right? And in JoJo, it was always kind of understood that people like
it's not at the top of the newspaper.
Do not fucking notice stand users ever. In this, no, they figured that shit out immediately, and one of them is our protagonist. His name is Eiji. His whole deal is that his order
has the power to deflate narrative tension because it can control all people and objects and some ideas, as far as I can tell, in anywhere he has walked.
Okay, so that is the basic premise on the ground right now, right? It's just that is the world that we're living in, and at some point he used his power in a way that caused a, I guess you could call it a minor apocalypse. Like civilization just took a really big shit, and now we're living in the aftermath of that. Some 10 years later or something like that, right? Um,
Yeah, so he just like nudged some tectonic plates or whatever the fuck, and people aren't happy. There were some implications. I don't think the show is really going back to this because it's sprinting from concept to concept like it's on Quaaludes, but the first episode lays the foundations of some fucking X-Men discontent with the orders.
yeah, that if they ever explore that, it's going to be way later because they lay those foundations or they allude to that, and then it seems kind of forgotten about just a little bit. I
I
think
almost feel like I'm misleading people describing this stuff as the premise of Big Order, because this stuff is the premise of the first episode of Big Order.
of Big Order,
The
yeah.
second episode's premise is that they go through a coup of the Earth's government, and I
Kyushu?
want to say 4 minutes before introducing the Gotei 13.
Yeah, I cannot stress enough just how little time this show wastes getting to the meat. In fact, it is so quick to do so that it seems to forget that you kind of need an entire arc or so. 8 episodes, let's say, before you get to the show that this show gets to within the first two. Honestly, within the first 20 minutes. And there's this point in the second episode that's very emblematic of this, right? When after, like screwing around with the assassin sent to kill him for a couple of minutes, we are immediately introduced to, I called this moment Attack of the Character Designs.
Yep.
Because immediately we were introduced to this council of 10, and they're all, yeah, they're the Gotei 13 from Bleach for all intents and purposes. Just these 10 powerful orders, and they serve him now. And they all have names and powers and backstories, and, personalities. And it's the second episode. And here they are now. I hope you enjoy them.
Here's what it's like to see all these fucking designs just leaping at once. The next time you are in a library or a bookstore or a physical place that sells books, when the world exists again, I want you to go to a discipline you know nothing about and find the thickest textbook on that topic and open like halfway through and try to just process that shit in 40 seconds.
That's kind of what it was. That's not a bad analogy.
You will feel your brain go through a seg fault. And if you don't know what a seg fault is, Big Order now expects you to know what a fucking seg fault is.
I want to go back to the whole there should have been an arc that happened before this, because there really fucking should have, because you've got this whole fucking premise and this world that is only half built. And if you spent, yeah, I want to say an arc or so building this world, maybe building the relationship between these two main characters. AG is the first one, the second one is the assassin sent to kill him. So an assassin sent to kill him, right? If you gave us a few episodes for them navigating their kind of complicated, admittedly very stupid relationship,
Incredibly.
and B, navigating the the world that they live in, that you're trying to build and have this whole take place in. Maybe, right? I could have bought the introduction of the attack of the character designs, like Demon Slayer, right? We actually got the attack of the character designs, like they all fucking showed up at once. After a couple of them, admittedly, had been introduced here and there throughout the series. But at that point, you had sort of gotten to live in that world for long enough where, when a whole bunch of Demon Slayers who are, understood to be like the best of the best Demon Slayers, them showing up doesn't feel like you're, sort of having information shoved down your throat and told to swallow. It's more that, it's like, okay, yeah, all right. So these are like these are the top of this organization. I get that because like you understand the organization, right? You understand this world, you understand who these people are and what these people do, and it's like the 20th episode, right? Instead of the fucking second of the
I almost wonder if this show is the victim of not only cocaine, but just a seasonal format. They had all this source material. They know they're getting a second season. They want to get all their shit in. The base material is already insane. They're clipping through it at an insane pace. Now there are just no transitions.
Yeah, and like at the end of the second episode, they decide that we're going to take over the world. We're starting with Kyushu. We have already taken over the island. No need to thank us. And then we're doing Japan next. Episode 3. The Prime Minister of Japan kidnaps the entire families of everyone in the Gotei 13, Big 10, whatever the fuck, and executes them in front of our hero. Because, okay, so I guess he's psychotic or something.
Scene in this, by the way.
And we're supposed to just buy, like, oh yeah, the world's fucked up. So is the Prime Minister of Japan. Like, no, dude. No, I don't buy that.
I have several serious questions.
Like, I'm just sitting here not suspending my disbelief, and you're trying to put that shit on me? Fuck you.
Excuse me, sir. Tonally, you are severely underrating the amount of laughter we did. Like, that scene brought joy and light and warmth to my heart in a time where I needed it. Like, Sam,
it's true. There's a chance I'm being a little bit disingenuous.
When we all want to imagine a better world, don't we need Big Order? Don't we need Lady Gaga? Don't we need a live-action version of Big Order where Lady Gaga plays an assassin sent to kill you? That's my fucking pitch, everyone.
It's she's definitely. I do not think that she is on my short list, but you know what? Shine on, you crazy diamond. We should talk about the Prime Minister of Japan scene, because it's less a scene and more just a whole fucking sequence.
An experience.
It takes up the bulk of the third episode.
All right.
Because the whole thing is the last 2 minutes of the second episode. We are introduced to the Big Ten or whoever the fuck their names are.
Yep.
And their fucking character designs, and they say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna take over the world." And this fucking kid, Eiji, is like, "Cool, let's fucking do it, guys."
I think he goes through about, I want to say 45 seconds of resistance. Like, it exists.
Does he? Okay, maybe he does. I'll take your word for it. You've seen this
Not so
twice.
much of conquering the world, but to being their puppet. There's this weird push and pull thing where they have forced him into the position of representing their world domination scheme. It makes less sense the more I try to think about it or explain it to you.
Well, especially because he doesn't seem to have any sort of problem with that. So, right? There's no conflict
it's
whatsoever.
Why I think if you like Big Order, you might be a higher form of life. You just understand things that I don't. It's
because the thing is, there's no fucking tension. His fucking power to, just control whatever. And oh yeah, no, he like if this ever reminds you of Code Geass,
strong vibes.
Yeah, that's what they're fucking aping. So and like he even has like a little thing that fucking glows whenever he uses his power, except it's on the palm of his hand instead of his eye. They
Code Geass
wanted to
8 Blaze Blue.
Ish. There's something else in there too. I mean JoJo, but yeah, there's a whole like drama removing superpower that he has where, like in Code Geass, right? And I re-examined that show. I went back and watched it again, and it's a supremely dumb show, to its credit often. But what it does is it gives, the main character this power, and it sets limitations, and it puts him in positions where, he has to fucking think for a second in order to use it. In here, it just doesn't seem like that. You just sort of point him.
It's just a button that says win. Like every time something is stressing him out more than, I don't know, jogging down the street, he can just press the win button.
You point him at a situation, and just kind of set a 5-minute timer, and maybe it'll take him that long to figure it out, and that's the only tension. Is like
you can just like have his stand poke some metal and say, "Yo, make that a Lambo."
For real. because the fucking stupid ass prime minister execution scene, right? You know, the premise of the scene is that the depraved prime minister of Japan, sure he's depraved or something, whatever, has kidnapped the relatives of everyone in the Big Ten, and has this fucking sword guy go around executing them, on television, and you know, like this is being
on like UPN.
played on the streets. Yeah, this is like exactly like. And this is being played to, you know, the populace of Japan who are fucking cheering for it because...
Which adds all kinds of humor value.
It does. And it does nothing for the world building, though that was sort of the idea I get... Or that's what I'm sort of getting was the idea. It does absolutely nothing for the world building. It just pulls me further and further out of this. Makes me more and more aware that what I'm watching is something that is not happening and would never happen under any circumstances, even if, you know, all of these fantastic, you know, elements were put into play.
What a beautiful
people don't act like
nonsense.
this, and people would never act like this.
But the turn, the prestige of this scene, if you will,
the prestige
is his answer to the prime minister's depravity, in which this motherfucker just pulls out this gun. In the South Park's R. Kelly spectrum, I pull out my gun! A gun that was handed to him in an equally amusing sequence, by the way. But he pulls out his fucking gun, and he just starts shooting the other members of the Big Ten in the chest. And you know that it's going to be fine, because there's no tension in this scene, or anything that happens. But it's just really funny to watch him walk up to character design, putting two in their chest and they fall over, no blood or anything, which again takes it out because this show has been the edge carnival up to this point. Like, it showed a little girl getting stabbed.
Oh, they're called the Group of 10. I just scrolled down on the Wikipedia page.
I don't care.
We've
So
been
they're
calling
the
them
Group
the
of
Big
10.
Yeah, I really do not give a shit. Yeah, the Group of 10. Right, and you know, they go down bloodlessly, and they don't even let you believe for that long that he has actually capped them, because one of them opened their eyes and does a heh just like we planned smirk, you know, to the camera, and I wanted to fucking slap the motherfucker through the screen.
Oh yeah, like, just in case there was a chance that you were engaging this in some sincere manner unrelated to a podcast, off they go.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking wild. I love that the show existed, because there are a lot of strains of bad out there, and I can at least live with the world if for every fucking assassin's pride there are these Ed Woodian projects where you know they thought it could be good, and pederasty wasn't even on the list. Well, I guess actually there was a whole sister fuck there. Whatever.
There was the maybe sister fuck thing where, you know, care is taken to
underline that they are not blood related.
The whole thing is that the main character had this dying sister who still is dying, like she's still alive or whatever 10 years later. So like, okay, whatever.
He should have ordered the disease to stop progressing.
And care is taken to show the viewer that they are in fact not blood related. And there's like no reason for this whatsoever, or rather, this could be for no other reason but that it makes, you know, the idea that he wants to fuck her, you know, slightly less creepy. So that's an element kicking around just in the background of the show, you know, in case you like were starting to feel good about any of this.
Like, in case you didn't think you were gonna get the fucking Brazzers step sibling wind up, lo ex behold.
But you are.
And
so that whole thing is just kind of sitting there in the background, and like, yeah, no, she's several years younger than him, and I'm pretty sure.
Shudder.
Unless I'm remembering her. No, I don't think. Yeah, no, she is several years younger than him. So
I guess that's our unifying theme today, everyone.
Pederasty, lovely day.
Whether you're a tutor or an older brother, what's important is for you to hit that like a meteorite. Oh my god, what the fuck happened?
One thing, if I want to give this show any credit, it's that, like, it doesn't have... No, never mind. I was about to give this show credit for, you know, having less than the usual amount of oh god, this is real fucking thin. People will notice. We might as well put some anime titties in here.
But why do you think an assassin sent to kill you is here?
Yeah, no, Assassin Meant to Kill You gets like a fucking like lingerie scene in the third fucking episode. It does not even fucking take them until a fucking beach episode for no. So like, no, you don't get points.
Yep, Big Order
Big
is
Order.
convinced
You don't.
that it has to do all the things very quickly. Even just cram the fucking classroom scene from Ava there in the first episode because fuck you, I guess. I don't know.
Because fuck you. Yeah, it's the only thing that people have ever fucking watched. Well, obviously no, because they have watched, Bleach and Code Geass, obviously,
And step porn.
JoJo as well.
Lots of step porn.
And step porn. I mean, all of Japan has.
Yes, only Japan.
I don't want to
yes,
hold on. I don't want to generalize. The entire world has
not a plague.
half the people in the anime industry have. There was this one fucking thing that I wanted to. Just the pace at which, because we're covering material from the first 3 episodes, like 1, 2, 3, 60 minutes of content, and we get all of this shit.
Dude, Sam almost snapped after doing 2 back-to-back. It was fascinating to watch. Like, he just was out of shit.
Well. Yeah, that's the thing. I was concerned. I was legit concerned that if we paused, I was gonna break my fucking neck from the whiplash. That's how fucking breakneck paced. I mean, like, that's why they call it a fucking breakneck pace. Except it didn't work. It just made me feel confused and exhausted as I was going through it.
If I were to Corey Graves and bring in the color commentary here, in every fucking carnival in America, they sell this stock machine called the Mind Scrambler. Mm-hmm. And boy, I feel like someone just strapped me upside down to the Mind Scrambler. Or the Gravitron. Or just strap me upside down to the side of a truck and ask me to recount what I had seen from my perspective. I don't know.
I mean, I'm glad I had you here to help me because I'm not sure that I could do it alone because, Christ, this show was a lot.
We're a good tag team, Sam. We can survive all kinds of pain. And pain makes you feel fucking alive, doesn't it?
I mean, until you die from it, sure.
Man, nothing that happens to the main character in either show really feels like it hurts them, does it? Like, they just glide along. And it's weird because the guy in the first show loses a fucking arm for a second. He's a vampire. He just stitches that shit back on.
I remember like shouting chimichangas at the scene at the show, just like chimichangas.
Chimichangas. None of this matters. Fuck you.
And I think that's sort of become my little shorthand for, obviously the character is in no danger. There's no tension. I don't care. Chimichangas.
Deadpool.
Have I shot on Deadpool on this show
yes,
yet?
extensively.
I feel like I have.
It was basically half of our April Fool's Day thing last year.
Okay, sure, cool, fine. So I don't need to I don't need to go on. Fine. I'm not sure what else there's to say. But I'm sure there's tons else to say about this, but nothing that I can really think of right now. Or have thought of. Did you have anything else?
I just have one simple message.
Sure.
If you or a loved one have found yourself watching Assassin's Pride at length, there's help. This has been Weeaboo Hell. It's Weeaboo Hell.